Hey, everybody, and welcome to the BA Zone Live. I am back. I am live. I am back from vacation. And tonight, let's see, let me get I'm a little late tonight, but I do have a lovely tan. Okay. I'm Marianne Morrison, and Kathleen Sinnott is behind the scenes handling all of our tech and audio tonight. And tonight we're going to be talking about that state of confusion, which I am in right now, when team members and management don't understand roles. So it's certainly a BA challenge. So bring your questions, tips, and comments. And if you know someone who might be interested in this topic, reach out and share it with them, with your friends, your coworkers, or that certain someone you want to get off of your couch. But before we start, let's loosen up a little while Kathleen spins our intro. Okay, I love that. Okay, let's get into tonight's topic. So, that state of confusion that occurs when team members and management don't understand what the roles are within their team. I was thinking about this and I'm like, we're constantly talking about teamwork. It's driven into our heads. We go to seminars for teamwork. It's the basis to achieve our goals for an organization. We use teamwork around projects to reduce operational costs, to increase sales. As part of our annual reviews, we have to be a team player. We spend a lot of time focusing on teamwork, but teamwork requires clearly defined roles. And a lot of times those roles aren't defined. Either they're not defined at all, or sometimes they haven't been updated, or they just need to be reworked a little bit. And it's not just at the actual role level, but it even goes down to the individual skill or the ability level of a team member for a given task within a project. So, but first, let's take a look at some of the bad things that can happen when roles are not clearly defined, or maybe they're just ambiguous. I'm sure you've all run into some of these, and if you have others that you want to add, don't be shy, join in the fray, and feel free to vent, as we often do on this show. So here we go, in no particular order, some of the bad things that can happen and do happen when the roles are ambiguous or not clearly defined. One of the biggest ones is duplication of work. Okay, so it's like, why are you doing this? I'm already doing this. Or, it's just a waste of resources at the very bottom, the bottom line that we talk about. It can be very frustrating when you're working on something and you find out that someone else is working on that exact same thing or something very similar. That's going to cause everyone to sort of redo work or doing each other's work kind of thing. That can lead to, conflicts, confusion, frustration, and certainly stress. It's sort of like that big emotional tsunami comes on. People get their backs up. Paranoia sets in. Why are they doing this? I'm supposed to be doing it. They get a little territorial. Then people start to think, ooh, is there an ulterior motive? Does somebody have an agenda? And they begin to convince themselves that this is the case. And then there's a little retribution or apathy that follows that. And they become entrenched in emotion. And that tends, to lead to the next point, which is it creates a lack of motivation and productivity. No one ever told me I had to do this. So why should I? Or I'm not going to call the client. What if somebody already did call the client? And then I'll be all freaked out. They kind of lose sight of the bigger picture by focusing on all this little minutia that may or may not exist, this type of agenda or stuff. And they no longer have clarity around what they're doing. And it's very hard to focus. Once you lose that focus, and you're concentrating on all this other minutia that just sort of just swirls around in everyone's head, and they get all inside their head. Another big issue, it can lead to rework. A lot of times, requirements can be complete, but someone wasn't involved that should have been involved, but nobody knew they were supposed to be involved. So they step in later, and that they could halt the project until they can fully review it. It slows everything down. It can result in scope creep or changed requirements. So there's that whole rework. And once you start doing that rework, there's all these time management issues. All your projects that are in the queue get backed up or delayed, and it really causes a poor resource management. Due to the duplication of efforts and all of these rework issues. On top of that, there's always the fun one, the customer, client, and user issues that surface because of that. If you have multiple people setting up multiple meetings to review the same information, or if you have multiple emails going out from different people requesting the same information that had been previously provided to someone else, or maybe they're providing conflicting viewpoints or next steps. I mean, this sort of leads to a lack of confidence from the client and users. Like, do these people actually know what they're doing? What's going on? It's like it looks really bad. It looks really bad. So you want to try to avoid that as well. And then there's always the fun one. That's sort of those blurred lines between management roles, BA roles, or project managers. As a supervisor, you can have some supervisors, either they're new supervisors or potentially new project managers, and they don't know how to let go of performing the work that they used to do, or that their team members should now be doing, the people that they manage. Um, and their own work is not getting done as a result of this, but also there's a lot of overlap that happens, and people don't know whether they should be doing something or whether the project manager or their boss should be doing it. Or what can also happen is, because there isn't this roles set up or a process around things that are supposed to happen, you can have managers that tend to micromanage, because obviously they don't trust what's going on, because no one knows what's going on. So it's sort of that catch-22. So if anything's going to go wrong, it's definitely going to go wrong, or it's going to be incomplete. So those are just some of the things that can happen, that can go wrong. And I see that I'm just taking a little break here. Adam is very happy you're back. Thank you, Adam. I'm happy to be back. And if you have any other type of comments, please, let us know, or any other issues. There's a lot of them out there. I mean, there's a lot of things that can happen when roles aren't defined, and usually not good things that happen. Everything sort of gets tripped up. So we'll get into that a little bit. And, I know what I should be doing. I should probably be taking a little break here to show where you can find us. So if Kathleen would be so kind, and there we go. You can obviously catch us at thebazone.com. That's our website. Instagram, Periscope, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So, and you can catch our previous show too on YouTube. Just search for the BA Zone, or go to our website as well. Okay, Adam has a question. Okay, while Adam gets that up, let's see. Oh, there you go. The thing's working at the bottom. How do you work towards a balance of defined roles and not allowing to ensure no one is willing to collaborate, as it might so amount to overlap? And I'm glad you asked that. And I'm actually going to go over that in the second or the third section, I think. But you can't, roles can't be so rigid that they stop you from being collaborative or from being innovative. And there's a way to do it, and it's more at the project level. And I'm going to get into that in just a minute, so hold tight. And John has a comment as well. So, Kathleen, you're going to bring that one up. The old too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Welcome back. Thank you, John. I'm happy to be back. You're exactly right. Too many chiefs, not enough Indians. Nobody knows what's going on. So let's try to correct that. So if you're in if you're in a management position, or if not even, you can talk your manager into this. If there are no roles, clearly defined roles, I mean, the first thing that you want to do is get the employees together. If you're a BA group, get all the BAs together. And the first thing that I would do, and I've done this in the past, is have everybody, and we just, you can do this on a whiteboard, flip whatever you want to do, flip charts, list the tasks, everybody's task, everything that they're doing, all of their responsibilities. What is the current level of authority or decision making they have around different things, or process, and what are the processes that they're involved in? And are there other roles or processes that they may support? Um, in this way, you can identify things that are role that they're doing, as well as any gaps, things they should be doing that they're not doing. I mean, we recently did this with a group, and we found out that this was an operations group. They were doing a lot of things that, a marketing group should have been doing. So you can identify things and sort of get together with that other role and say, okay, we're sort of doing this, but we shouldn't be doing this. So you can actually eliminate some tasks. Um, Once you get all those tasks and responsibilities and authorities listed out, you want to create levels within a role. So, for example, we typically used to create 3 levels of business analysts, 1, 2, 3, senior, junior, middle, whatever it was. We typically went with 1, 2, 3. And then when you take all of those tasks that you had and all those responsibilities, you try to plug them into the different levels. And once you do that, um, give them authority. What is the authority? What is the decision-making level that they're going to have? And from a manager perspective, the more authority you give them, the more autonomous and independent they become. So as a manager, you can do other things without micromanaging, or having a swinging door. I mean, we have an open door policy, but the swinging saloon door gets a little, tiring. So you try to give them as much autonomy as possible. And once you do that, then define a process. What are the process? People have a role. They need to know in different situations who they can go to, who makes the decisions, what are some step-by-step scenarios. This is sort of that high-level role description that tends to become that static document in HR somewhere. And it's very difficult to, once you get these roles set up, to get them changed. People got to find them. They're in HR somewhere. They're attached to salaries, all kinds of things, but they should be reviewed periodically to be updated. But in addition to that, we don't want them to be, as Adam was asking before, so rigid. You want that balance. So what we'd like to do is, for um, each project, the roles are defined, but they're also fairly fluid, and gives everyone the chance to use their best skills, learn from one another. Um, you want to, for each project, list out the tasks, and then assign a person that fits that particular task. It's not so much about the role at this point. Some people will argue with me, um, but it's not just about. It's sort of like, if you have a BA that's really very, very good at business roles, and if you have more than one BA, I prefer these sub teams, or the team approach, or team within a team. When we would attack a project, a large enough project, we would list out the tasks and say, okay, well, Kathleen is really good at creating comps or wireframes. We're going to put her on that. Maybe another person was really good at the business rules. Someone else was good at the flows. And periodically, when they're working as a sub, they're working sort of independently, but they're getting together with meetings, and they're learning from each other so that they can expand their skill set. And this way, you can pull junior people up to intermediate to senior level and give them a career path as well. So it's sort of that have a defined role, but within each project, give people the fluidity to move within that role, so they can experience the different skill sets that they're going to need, and it gives them a career, a path to do that. So you have to absolutely, Adam, you definitely have to define the role, and you have to do it from many perspectives, the HR perspective, so that people understand exactly what they're doing. Um, and then um, and then be able to adapt it, to be creative a little bit, to get people what they need. And that's really a sign of a well-defined role, that gives them the ability to do that. So I'm just going to check out, see if there nothing going on from you folks. I have to check periodically back and forth, make sure I don't miss anything from Kathleen. Okay. So what are the benefits of doing this particular thing? Right off the bat, it improves productivity. Clearly defining specific tasks at the individual level within a role for a given project provides a sense of purpose, a common goal. But within a framework of roles, the individual tasks to achieve those particular goal or goals, right? So it's what makes first responders and teams in emergency rooms so effective. You just have to look at sports team. There's different positions on a given team. They have different tasks, but they all have the same goal. I was saying I was on vacation. I was on a cruise ship. The crew members know their tasks so well, and who to go to in order to resolve an issue, that it's a seamless process. I mean, they're dealing with thousands of guests, and the turnover is incredible, and how quickly they turn things around. They know how to interact with other roles because they know what is expected of them, within the context of their own role, and as a result, everything gets done. With very little falls through the cracks because you have this sort of independent role that focuses with a common goal focus for a team. Um, it improves communication and collaboration. So by providing that sort of secure framework where everybody knows what has to be done, if I finish what I have done, I'm more willing to help someone else because I know exactly what's expected of me. When team members understand the role, their associated task, um, their skills, the knowledge, and the responsibilities of each person in each required team, they begin to, understand, have a little bit more respect for each other, and they actually trust one another a little bit more. Everything is getting done. I have a little extra time. I can help you. Look, everybody likes to help. I'm one of those big helpers. I like to jump in and I like to help with things. But I want to make sure that my stuff is getting done as well. So you've got to kind of tame and rein that wanting to help people in with, okay, I do have a clearly defined role. I know what I have to do and get done. To that extent, it also improves the process in general. Who do I go to? Who has the answers that I'm going to need? Who needs to be part of the conversation? Who needs to sign off on the requirements? It just improves process overall. No one's guessing, no one's leaving something thinking someone else is working on it, etc. And it reduces conflicts. It makes it harder when you have this set path. It makes it harder for those passive aggressive types. We know who we are. We know who we are. Oh my God, that's like a Freudian slip. Or it could be competitive types. We're a little competitive. That tend to want to undermine another team member, just because they're competitive in nature. So it reduces a lot of that. It creates a lot of autonomy and accountability. If people clearly know their roles, they're more independent and less reliant on management, quite frankly, and they know where they fit in the organization, and you can make them accountable, um, you know, uh, for what they're doing, and you can measure that accountability. And again, you can identify gaps in their career path and career opportunities. So, where are you in your career? Where do you need to be from a career path perspective? If you're a junior BA and you someday want to be a senior BA or whatever it is you want to be, at least you know the skills that are required to achieve that particular level. That doesn't guarantee that you'll get that level because there's a lot of other things that go into it, but at least you know what the skill set is and the knowledge that's going to be required. And from a management perspective, it enables us to measure and manage the performance objectively. So we're sort of taking the emotion out of this particular person and looking at, okay, do they have, this particular skill set to promote them to the next level? And it makes it very clear cut as to what someone has to do. There are some other soft skills that are necessary, but of course you set those goals out for someone, in an annual review. But from a career path, from that moving from that one level, at least those are the skill sets you definitely need to take care of. So I don't know if anybody else has any other benefits or any other complaints out there. Let's see. Okay, so we'll take a little break here. And we just wanted to thank everyone for taking the survey that we had out there. That's terrific feedback for us. And that's still, I think is that still going on? I guess it's still going. Kathleen, did we shut that down or is that still going on? She might pop in. I think it's.
Yeah, no, we're going to keep that up to the end of the year.
Through the end of the year. Great. Yeah, so tell us what you need and what you want, and it'll set us up for next season, next year. And definitely, if you haven't taken the survey, please do. I mean, most of our shows, our best shows, come from what you guys are looking for, your gaps in your knowledge and your skill set. I mean, we want to get you to where you need to be. So please take that survey and let us know. Okay, let's see. Where are we? Anything else going on? Okay, let's see. So that's pretty, I think, did I cover everything? I did cover everything I need to cover it. So, having clearly defined roles, again, it helps tremendously in so many areas, and the benefits definitely outweigh any of the negatives that would be associated with it. We run into, like I said, this need to help everyone. We sort of wind up stepping on each other's toes if we don't have clearly defined roles, and it can be expensive, and it can lead to frustration and annoyance on everyone's part. So try to get that, if you can, try to get those roles defined. And then once you have them defined, again, be creative within the projects. Definitely be a little floaty, a little fluid, definitely help the next person up and bring them up. And that's what we try to do on the show is, reach back and help the next person as we wind down in our old age. No, I don't want to say but we're not planning on winding down anytime too soon. But again, we'll just check here and see if anything else is going on. I might have a little sun thing from being there. Look, no ghost hands tonight. Not really, not too bad. They're a little on the tan side. But anyway, thanks again, everybody, for joining. I'll just take one more look here, make sure there's no other questions or comments before we go. I hate to cut anybody off.
Okay, while we're waiting, so are you trying to tell me that you need to go on more trips so that you could avoid the ghost hands going forward?
Yeah, I think so. Either that or we're going to have to start spray tanning, like, Dancing with the Stars or something, just to keep those ghost hands down. Poor Kathleen. She hates when I go on vacation. Yeah, that was nice, that cruise ship. But anyway, I digress. Anyway, we thank you for your time. We know you guys are busy. And again, if you want to catch any of the previous shows, feel free to do so. Go out there and leave us comments, leave us notes. We love hearing from you. Send us hearts, send us love, whatever. We do this for you folks. And again, thanks for joining. And I hope you have a terrific night and a great week. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Good night.